So yeah, an official good afternoon and welcome to Cardinal Explore Broker Analytics. It's very exciting. You know, Cardinal has been working with Explore. Explore are data scientists. They've been looking at the Cardinal 360 data and analyzing the data and creating these fantastic models to enhance your business, to give you levers and measures that you can measure your business and see how you can improve, where you can improve your productivity, your loss ratios, etc., etc. But I don't want to take any glory away from them. But we have used a few clients, or a few clients have joined us to create these models. So there's always room for improvement, and we will be improving the models as we go along. So yes, over to the Explore guys. Dewald and Kieran, welcome.
Thanks, Craig. Let me just get the screen going. Cool. So, if you can, there you go. Cool. So, I mean, before we get into the main event, which is the broker analytics and what it is and what it's not, I thought it'd be good to just start with an introduction about, I guess, myself and Kieran on the call, and then explore as a whole, like what we do, and the sort of whole the group environment. After that, I'll specifically go into what we've done in the insurance space, our insurance business unit, like what we've built, sort of for who and what parts of the insurance value chain. And then we'll get to the main event, which is the broker analytics, the product that we have built in partnership with Cardinal. That will involve like an overview of the tool, what it does, the benefits, and then also a quick show and tell, a demo with some dummy data of it. So start off with, I mean, I'm Dewald. I'm sort of head of delivery at the Explore Insurance Business Unit. Don't know if it's a good or a bad thing, but I'm a qualified actuary, and I've spent the last sort of 5+ years with Explore building AI solutions, specifically in the insurance and financial services domain. With me is Kieran. I mean, he'll take over the broker analytics sort of section of this webinar. He's a product manager in our team, specifically looking after the broker analytics product. Background in engineering and also as a data scientist, he played a pivotal role in the online course content and course product in the Explore Data Science Academy, which is one part of the Explore group. So that's us. I mean, Explore as a whole, I mean, what do we do? So Explore's got two big functions. The first one is teaching. So that's where we've got the Explore Data Science Academy, which most people, or that Explore is probably famous for more than anything else. In there, we've taught over 1,000 students in data science, machine learning, and AI type courses, long and short, on-premise and online. And then the goal is then to deploy them into the world of work, so to supply data scientists. And at the same time, we take in those data scientists. So that brings me to the second part of Explore, which is our development arm. And that's where we build solutions for sort of solving real world problems for companies. We've got different verticals that we build solutions, companies that we build solutions for. The first one is insurance and financial services. And the second one is utilities. So utilities is call it like the very big part of the development arm. We've got a partner in Thames Water. We're their preferred data science partner. We've won international sort of App of the Year awards with them. And this different verticals in our development arms are just increasing as time goes on. So at the moment, it's insurance and utilities, but the hope is to add marketing and other verticals in there as well. A bit about Explore Insurance. So what do we do? I mean, our sort of one-liner that we like to tell people is, I mean, we empower insurers and companies in the insurance call it an industry to assess, monitor, and manage their risks better. What we do is we build end-to-end AI's products and solutions for these companies. So not just present them with a PowerPoint presentation to say, well, this is how you need to manage your company better or things like that. It's like complete end-to-end intelligent solutions. We've got a team of data scientists, actuaries, and developers building these tools for us. And we've spent the last years building numerous solutions for over 10 companies in the solution space. So the broker analytics is one of the first products that we have built. These solutions that we have built, or the majority of them, have been very custom. So that's where we go to a company, what's your problem? We build something specific for them and specific for their use case, and not something that's generic. And these solutions, we mainly sort of specialize in the machine learning side, advanced analytics, and automation. So all of these solutions will have parts or all of what I just mentioned. Just before I hand over to Kieran and to talk about broker analytics, just an example of like the different solutions that we have built, to just give people a flavor of what we have done, what we haven't. So if you look at the insurance value chain, which is the top over here, we've built solutions across most of the value chain, specifically focusing on underwriting and pricing. And then we've also done quite a bit in claims and collection and capital management. If you look at the color coding, most of our work has been in credit insurance and motor insurance. So those are the two sort of types of insurance that we have spent the most time on. And if I just take a minute to quickly talk about two of the solutions to just give people a flavor of what we have done. So one with AI underwriting credit insurance, what we did there was to say, can we use data and sort of build a machine or machine learning model that will assess risk and say whether this is an insurable risk or not? And if it is insurable, what do we actually need to charge it? The risk in order to make X percent margin. So that was the AI underwriting. And the claims assessor support was a tool we did more to improve the operations for an insurer. This was actually for a pet insurer. And there we automated the sort of claims process, the claims capturing process specifically, and also the assessment of the claims, where we use OCR technology to sort of ingest invoices, automatically store the data into the form that the assessor needs to see it, and then use some AI to automatically assess the claim to know whether it's a fraudulent or not, and whether they've over or undercharged. So those are just two examples, some of the solutions we have built. Like I said, we've built it across the whole value chain, across different types of insurance. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good time to focus, I guess, on the product that we have built and not the solution. So this will be, like I said, one of the first products that we have built. We've built one or two others, but this is probably the first one that we're taking to market at such a big scale. And I'm going to hand over to Kieran to cover the rest. I mean, we'll start with just giving a brief introduction of like what the product is, what it isn't, which will then lead to the main event, which is the demo of the actual product.
Right, hey guys, thanks to Evald for that. Let me just get my bearings here. Okay. So I won't waste any of your time introducing myself. Evald did that, product manager at Explore. Here today to talk about the broker analytics product in partnership with Cardinal, which we are offering and hope to roll out to as many of you as possible and provide value in ways that you might not have seen coming. So the way we like to describe it is that it's the preferred way that brokers will do their analytics and reporting going forward. Analytics and reporting may be foreign terms to you, hopefully not. If they are, I'll use the demo in a few minutes time to describe exactly what that means. Very briefly, the product, what is it? Really, it's a real-time dashboard that integrates with Cardinal 360. Hopefully, if you're on this call, you know what Cardinal 360 is. And Power BI is a visualization tool, which we've built a dashboard in. It plugs into Cardinal 360, and it shows your data in real time. It is largely grouped, or the way we present the data is grouped into two sort of primary fields: performance and productivity. Performance, and the way that the performance metrics are showed and delivered in the product, refer to your business as a whole, metrics that are used for determining business health, how your business as a brokerage or an insurer is going. So things like new and lost business, renewals, broker and business metrics in general, and then claims and related metrics like loss ratios, for example. Then the second module, of which I guess we could say we're more proud, because it's based on slightly more technical data and uses some quite nice algorithms to determine good insights, is known as the productivity module. And that helps you to determine and keep track of your staff and how they're using the Cardinal 360 platform. So we can't keep track of what they are doing outside of Cardinal 360, of course, but whatever they do inside that, we are hopefully able to provide good analysis and reporting on. So what they're doing, when they're doing it, and whether the balance of work is in favor of new additions, for example, of policies and things, or just updating existing ones, things like that, that might have been harder to access before. So I am about to jump into a demo of the product for you, but just a few things to keep in mind. The benefits that we determine the product will bring to you once you've plugged it in for your business and given it a spin. So the performance side, I think it's important just to separate the performance and the productivity things, as I've just mentioned. On the performance side, you'll be able to recognize your most valuable brokers. You should be able to use the performance module to increase your ability to retain customers. You'll also be able to identify and retain the most profitable business. So whether that's keeping the profitable business that you have, or identifying trends and targeting new business that looks to be the most profitable. And then of course, you'll be able to speed up how long it takes to settle claims, which is good for your business and good for the customers as well. And on the productivity side, again, this is more internal, focusing on your own staff. So you'll be able to identify your busiest working periods, when are people working the most. You'll be able to track the productivity of staff over time, both on an aggregate level as well as individually. And then you'll, among other things, of course, be able to recognize the employees that are doing the best work. So that's a very high level, very quick summary of what the product is and the benefits that it might bring. The best way to show that is through a demo. So let's jump right into that. I just need to switch screens here. I can't see exactly what I'm doing. So that looks good.
Yeah, Kieran, you good?
Cool. Thanks, Craig. Right. Let's jump right into it. This is the first page of the product, of the dashboard. The page is the primary unit of a dashboard in Power BI. You'll see on the left here that there are 4 pages: overview, sales, claims, and productivity. That's how we sort of segment the information. I think they're quite intuitively named. Then I'm going to use this screen to introduce the product and also to explain a few core concepts of Power BI and how dashboards work. So the first thing to notice is that at the top of the screen of every page of the dashboard, just lost my way here, I can't see you guys anymore, is a sort of a header bar of summary metrics. So they look slightly different on every page because they relate to slightly different things. But the idea there is those are the most pertinent, either average or total metrics pertaining to the particular period that is selected. But what is the period that is currently selected? So that leads into the next point of how our dashboard or how our product works, which is on the left-hand side of every page, you'll see a set of what are known as filters. So these are these blocks in the column on the left. And a filter is a set of selectors which affect what data is displayed on the page that you are viewing as a whole. So it won't change what's happening on other pages, but everything that's displayed on the page that you're currently looking at will update if you change one of these filters. So we've got 12 months selected here in period, and that means that all the visuals that we're looking at on this page are reflecting data for a period of 12 months leading up to today. To further illustrate how a filter might work, if I go to product type and select personal lines, you'll see that the data will update as long as we've got a good internet connection, which we should, otherwise you probably can't see me. The data updates, all of the visuals on the page, the data updates for them, showing data for all insurers, all brokers, and all divisions, and for 12 months, but now specifically for the personal lines product type. The third thing, so we've got the filters on the left, we've got the header bar showing summary metrics on the top. The third thing is that it's interactive. So of course, filters themselves show that interactivity as I've just described, but you can also click on the visuals themselves and use the visuals as filters, I suppose. So let's take a look at this first filter. or this first visual and try and use it as a filter. So what it's showing is the time taken to settle claims, and it's grouped into product types. Just keep in mind that we've got a reasonably basic set of dummy data here, so not everything will be shown. But if I was to click on personal lines in this, you'll see that it gets highlighted, everything else sort of gets faded out, and now all the visuals on the page update to reflect just the personal lines product type. So that's effectively the same as going to product type and choosing personal lines. Then lastly, the bottom of the page, or of the bottom of every page in this product is sort of the coup de grace, the final touch from Explore's development team, and I guess our data sort of expertise coming through, and that's known as the insights block. Any visual on the page that shows a light bulb at the top right corner, like this one over here, premiums grouped by broker, and then the one beneath it as well, loss ratio and claim payout over time. Anyone that shows a light bulb can be used to populate the insights block. So currently the insights block is being populated with information by premiums grouped by broker, and what it does is it uses some quite nice algorithms running in the background to determine a useful, actionable piece of information relating to that particular visual. So it might not be obvious when you look at the visual what you should take from it, and this will hopefully point you in the right direction. So the broker with the highest commission, and then it tells you that particular commission as well, in the selected period is John Thorne in this case. So that's the overview page, and yeah, that's the first third, I suppose you could say, of the performance module relating to business health, insurance brokerage metrics, and things like that. And it relates to a combination of sort of sales and claims. The next two pages relate to sales and claims specifically. So this is how you change pages by opening the panel on the left. I'm just going to hide it every time so as to maximize the bit of the dashboard that we do see. And this is the sales page, which is useful for looking at new and lost business over time, why policies may have been cancelled and how often, which of your brokers are doing the best work in getting new policies and their corresponding loss ratios. So the things that you would hopefully be grabbing for on a daily basis. As before, the header bar shows important summary metrics, particularly pertaining to sales. There's a small graph. It looks a little bit different on the screen, so I'll explain that. There's a small graph beneath each summary metric, and this is known as a spark line, and that shows the trend for that particular metric over the period that is currently selected. So the period that is currently selected is 12 months, which means that each of these spark lines for active clients, for example, shows a trend or the changing value of number of active clients over the last 12 months. If we were to change that to 6 months, those spark lines would reflect only 6 months worth of data. But I'm just going to keep that on 12 months because that makes the visuals look their best. Then just to focus on one or two things on this page, the visual in the middle of the top row, so loss ratio and new business policies by broker. This is quite an interesting one. It allows you to measure broker performance on perhaps the two most important broker or business metrics. So the first is loss ratio, which is measured on the horizontal axis. And of course, you want a lower loss ratio. So a value or a point further to the left of this graph would be a good one. And then on the vertical axis, we've got new business policies. And of course, bringing in more business is good. So a value higher on this graph would be preferred. So each point represents a broker. Fortunately, we don't have that many showing on here right now, but you can see one at the bottom left and one at the top right. Each point represents a broker, and a top performing broker would be one with both a low loss ratio and a high number of new business policies, and that would appear somewhere in the top left of this chart, for example. So that's the sales page. Let's jump over to claims. Of course, self-explanatory, the data about which it shows analytics and reporting. Some slightly different things here. We've got a table up at the top which shows all of the claims. You can see various pieces of information about it. I just see something popping up on the chat there, but I'm going to address it. We'll address that just after this demo, just to keep this smooth. The key graphs here are the bottom two. I mean, of course, all the visuals are going to bring value, but we don't have time to discuss all of them. So the left one, time to settle claims over time, hopefully an intuitive title. It shows you a trend over the period selected up here, again, 12 months. of how long it's taking to settle claims. So there will be, in this particular case, a data point every month. Obviously, an upward trend in this particular graph continuing for too long would be a clear indication that something was going quite badly wrong, i.e. over time, your claims were taking longer and longer to settle. And hopefully you could use that information to jump in and maybe use the overview page to determine what was going wrong. Then on the right-hand side of it, you also get a forecast for how the settlement time of those claims might change going forward. Gives you a slight, what we call a confidence interval in statistics. So you can't say for sure how long your claims will take to settle over the next month or two, but it gives you a decent range. Then the visual on the bottom right, claims paid and claims over time, also quite intuitive, but incredibly useful. That's the number of claims paid and the value being paid out over the period selected. So in this case, 12 months again. Of course, the preferred shape of both of those would be slopes that are downward and to the right. You want to be paying less claims and you want to be paying less rands or whatever currency it happens to be. Then lastly, I see your question, Tammy, and I'm just going to, we can jump back.
We're going to keep all the questions to the end. So good questions, post them so that we've got them. Yep. But then we'll give the guys an opportunity to answer all the questions. But good questions so far, Tammy. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, and we won't ignore those. So let me jump over to productivity. This is our, I guess the workers, the data analysts putting this together in the background are particularly proud of this piece of analytics that they've put together. So productivity refers to that of your employees. So it's, as I said, internal focused, and the work that they are performing on the Cardinal 360 system. So this is an incredibly useful module for arming yourself with information for example, going into a performance review with someone that you manage, and you can, for example, compare their expected productivity to the actual productivity that they achieved in a particular period, and then ideally gain an understanding of why there's a discrepancy using other parts of the product. Then the key for this page, again, lots of things to dive into, don't have that much time. So let me try and focus on or just give some highlights. The key to understanding this page is just a little bit of a disambiguation that I'll do first, and that's the difference between activities and events. You may or may not use this terminology in your business already. An event is sort of the larger piece of work. So that's something like an endorsement or a renewal or a refund or closing a claim and so on, those sorts of things. And then each of those events, like an endorsement or a renewal, is made up of several smaller pieces of work. Those are the sort of minor or individual tasks that a person is doing, and these are known as activities. So lots of activities contribute to making a single event. These are things like, for example, accepting a quote, logging that someone cancels or uncancels their policy, or a manager overrides a security task, and so on. So the primary graphs here, assuming that explanation is understandable, activities versus events, the primary graphs here are the bottom two, or the ones that I'll focus on for now. So the left one shows both events and activities, events being dark blue, and there's always going to be less of those because it takes multiple activities to complete a single event. And then in the lighter blue, or the left bar chart in each particular case, the average number of activities. So they're grouped by time. In this view, we can see the total counts of activities and events per month. But we're also able to drill down to smaller units of time. Drill down means to take a more detailed look. So if we, in its current view, we can see 2020, 05, 06, 07. So these are months in the year 2020. If we were to drill down once, we can see that the first level of increased detail shows us which days of the week most work is being completed on, which is quite useful. In this case, these are averages over weeks in each month of the particular period. And we can see here that Tuesdays are looking particularly good. If we were to drill down again, increase the detail further, we see the hours of the days that work is being completed during. So lots of things being tied up near the end of the day. We can see over here. So what's that? 4, 5, 6 o'clock. As the day comes to a close, people are obviously rushing to get their work in, mostly activities, not completed events. So that's pretty useful stuff. Then if we filtered, just to give you a more realistic example, if we filtered on username, we chose Deervolt, for example, we can see that, let me just drill back up to a month over here. We can see that in June of 2020, Deervolt completed 2 activities in total, and in July completed 12. So anyone familiar with the normal ranges of these metrics will know that Deervolt is severely slacking over those months in 2020, but he's obviously increased his work ethic since then. Then lastly, the right-hand graph here, let me just unfilter by Deervolt so we can see a bit more data. The right graph over here shows events and activities again, but this is more like a running tally of each over time. So a line graph is far more useful in determining trends as opposed to individual values, although spikes are shown here, or the values for particular time periods or spikes are shown here, which is quite useful. So we could use this to get an idea of what times of the year tend to see spikes in completed events, for example, and then perhaps use other pages in the performance part or the performance module of the product to determine the reasons that more claims are being submitted in January, for example, and attribute them maybe to increased travel due to holidays or something like that. So it helps you to piece together the puzzle from different perspectives. So that's as far as I'll go with the demo. We've looked at every page. We've looked at, I guess, a couple of highlights from each page. Let me jump back to my presentation. And we've looked at these benefits. And that's as far as we'll go showing the demo. Of course, very happy to take requests to do demos thereafter. I think that's a good indication of what this value or what value this product could bring. So Broker Analytics is a subscription product, which means, Craig, your camera's on. Do you want to jump in?
No. Thank you. I was just switching it on. So when you get to this side of things, people can see my face as well.
Okay. Well, I hope not to shock you. Broker Analytics is a subscription product. I mean, there's various ways of delivering software these days. So just want to disambiguate that. Subscription means that as long as you continue to pay, you have access to both up-to-date data. So that's being delivered at some high frequency period, probably monthly, but that can be discussed. And then it also means you're getting the latest stable version of the product all the time. That subscription costs 10,000 Rand a month. That includes 5 Power BI licenses, which means 5 people can log in simultaneously from their own devices. Those devices include mobile phones. There's a Power BI app. I've used it. It's very good. And that price also includes unlimited technical and customer support from Explore, which you would need to request through Cardinal so as to maintain a single point of contact. Doesn't mean we don't want to help you. It just means that we're not going to be 2 parties fielding all the requests. And then lastly, just to be crystal clear, that price does include both the performance module and the productivity module. So I hope you've got enough information there to chew on, to come running to us, hopefully, and also to ask some questions, some pertinent questions. Remember, there are no stupid questions. And I'll hand back over to Craig.
Kieran, thank you very much and well done. Very nice presentation. The tool is looking so impressive. And bear in mind that we're always adding on to it, and we will be adding more features and functions as we go along, and as we get your suggestions, we will be improving the tool and the model and adding more to it.